Pleasant good afternoon and welcome to the WFCX Bloomberg broadcast as well as live on our TV network brought to you by the Kalulu Alliance Media Network. I'm Anthony Weeks, executive producer, and I'm also the founder of the Synchro Economic Development Initiative and our signature policy initiative called the Caribbean America's Single Economy, better known as CASE, is where I concentrate a lot of my time and effort doing extensive work in the area of macroeconomic and public policy related matters. In my official capacity, in my post, I'm appointed by Governor Albert Bryan as the Special Economic Envoy to Taiwan in the Asian Pacific region. And recently, I accompanied the governor on his first trip to Taiwan in March. We left the weekend of March 25th. For those of you, if you've never traveled to the Far East, it depends on where you're flying from within the United States. It can take anywhere between 14 to 16 hours of just straight flight. And so it's a very long flight. You're literally flying on the other side of the world. And it's like flying through a time zone. And I've done it several times, but it was the first time Governor Albert Bryan, had an opportunity to lead a delegation to Taiwan in the March 25th, where he was received by high-level officials from the Taiwan government, particularly from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And we had a pretty full schedule of meetings with various both public government agencies as well as private sectors as well. And the reason for that is because of the formalization, which the Department of State, or State Department under the U.S. Department of Commerce, have encouraged every state and every city and municipality in the union, because of the U.S.-Taiwan relations, encourage those relationships to take place outside of the federal level, to take place on the state level and city level as well. And so as a U.S. territory, my position, I am designated as a special economic envoy to Taiwan and Asian Pacific region. I am if you will, the de facto ambassador to Taiwan. And so prior to the governor going to Taiwan, he made several trips to Taiwan. I made several trips, to Taiwan. And it was the governor's first opportunity to meet with high-level government officials, which was sponsored by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Joseph Wu, as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Minister, I should say, as well. And also coming up for the first time, Director General Xu will be making his first trip to the U.S. Virgin Islands, but not only this will be his first trip to the United States Virgin Islands, but it will be his first trip to the Caribbean and Latin America. So the governor will have the distinct opportunity to be able to host Director General Xu on his first visit. He heads up the Ministry of Foreign Affairs consulate office in Miami, and he's the Director General. And so he will be making his first official visit the second week of October, and we look forward to hosting the Director General and his team when they do fly in. So, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to just recap some very key point when it comes to the relationship between the United States and Taiwan. And we benefit from that, not just we, the Virgin Islands, but all the states in the Union and territories in the Union benefit from Taiwan being the if you will, the 8th trade partner, largest trade partner for the U.S. government, United States of the country itself. And so when you think of the breadth and scope of Taiwan, they play a major role in terms of international trade and commerce between the United States and Taiwan. And so so specifically, the size of Taiwan being 10th in terms of the various countries that have a trade relationship with Taiwan. There's about 30 countries that the United States trade with, and Taiwan is in the top 10 of those countries. Taiwan itself, by all standard, its population is 23 million people, just over 23 million people, but its size and its economic power, or if I should say, its ability to look at the scope of the hundreds of countries in the world, and when you consider its size, understanding that Taiwan is like they're like the 20th largest economy in the world. Again, out of the hundreds of countries on this planet, Taiwan's economy is around the 20th largest economy in the world, and being the 10th largest trade partner of the United States is paramount. And the reason that's important is because when you think of the role Taiwan plays, it plays a very formidable role, but critical role in terms of the global supply chain and how technology plays a part in that process. So Taiwan, when you look at their gross domestic product and economic output, their GDP, Taiwan is just a little bit shy of $1 trillion. They're $800+ billion in terms of the size of their economy. In terms of their annual output, they're huge. Even though there are only 23 million people, in comparison to all the other countries that have 1 billion plus, 300 million, 200 million, with a population of 23 million people, their economic might, their economic output is incredible. Again, they're just shy of $1 trillion, and it's around 800 and something billion dollars. So they're quite a formidable, if you will, nation of people and community that that excels very well in their respective space. And so Taiwan is also, when you look at the benefit of the relationship between ourselves and Taiwan, and where there's opportunity for us to work together, I'm going to identify 3 areas in where right now Taiwan is making an incredible amount of investment within the United States. Taiwan is the world's largest semiconductor chip manufacturer. Taiwan produces 90% of the world's most advanced chips. So everything from your television, your radio, your refrigerator, from your washing machine, to your cell phone, to your computer, militarily, all the chips, advanced chips that you know of, or even the mature chips, Taiwan produces 90% of the world's semiconductor chip, advanced chips. The other chips, which are the more mature chips in the car and things like that, they produce 50% of those chips in the world. So they play a very big role. But going back in 2018, when I first, helped to put this relationship together between U.S. Virgin Islands and Taiwan, since then we started attending the Smart City Summit. So Taiwan is also a major player when it comes to smart city technology, and they're investing a great deal of resources in being one of the leaders within the smart city space. Then also, Taiwan is vested, when you consider smart chips and the role smart chips plays in a number of different devices and appliances and other types of machinery and equipment. Wouldn't surprise that Taiwan has a vested interest in electric vehicles. And so those 3 areas are 3 areas that are of keen interest for the United States, and of course, Taiwan as well. We as a territory have an opportunity to work with Taiwan in very specific areas within technology, but not only technology, but also in the marine space. One of the meetings that took place with the governor when we met in Taiwan was the governor and the group, the delegation met with the the chairman of Evergreen Marine, and Evergreen Marine, they're one of the largest container shipping companies in the world. So I think there's roughly around 30 something container shipping company. Evergreen, they're the 5th largest container shipping company in the world. And so when the governor and the delegation met with the chairman and his senior level executive team, we discussed the building of the shipyard, a shipyard here in St. Croix, to be able to address the maintenance, the repair and maintenance of major Panamax ships, those large tanker ships that you see, whether cruise ships, freight ships, and even military ships as well. And so Taiwan has the ability to assist St. Croix or the U.S. Virgin Islands to be able to develop opportunities within that space. Now we're going to hear shortly from Director General Xu, where he is basically making the case as to why Taiwan needs to be part of the Indo-Pacific economic framework. And so let me just share with you what that is here, and you'll understand the reason why Taiwan is petitioning to be part of it when you consider the role China is playing. Taiwan is petitioning or making the case for them to be part of the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity called IPEF, if I think it's pronounced. And here is what's just some brief background on it. In May of 2022, the United States launched the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity with Australia, Brunei, and Fiji, India, Indonesia, Japan, and the Republic of Korea, Malaysia, New Zealand, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. That was the first round of countries that was selected to be part of the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. So as the IPEF grows, more countries are going to sign on to be part of that. This framework will advance resilience, sustainability, inclusiveness, economic growth, fairness, and competitiveness for the U.S. economy. Through the initiative, the IPEF partners aim to contribute to cooperation, stability, prosperity, development, and peace within the region. This framework will offer tangible benefits that fuel economic activity and investments, promote sustainability and inclusive economic growth, and benefit workers and consumers across the region. The 14 IPEF or IPEF partners represent 40% of the global GDP and 28% of the global goods and services of trade. The launch began the discussion of future negotiations on the following pillars. Number 1, trade. Number 2, supply chain. Number 3, clean energy and decarbonization and infrastructure. And number 4, tax and anti-corruption. The IPEF is designed to be flexible, and meaning that the IPEF partners are not required to join all 4 pillars, but each company are able to participate. And Taiwan is basically saying, when you consider their role in the global supply chain of the global economy and how critical of a role they're playing, Taiwan is investing $40 billion in the state of Arizona. Again, they're building a massive semiconductor plant in Arizona, $40 billion. They're making other investment, looking at other investment in different parts of the country in the area of EVs as well. And we are working closely with Taiwan. We are working closely with Taiwan to be able to allow the Virgin Islands to have a relationship in the technology space, not just smart city, but to look at where we can position the U.S. Virgin Islands to bridge the gap in where we can help facilitate the global supply chain in various parts of the technology industry as well. And so we're starting with Smart City. And so part of the governor's delegation was a private sector delegation that was from the U.S. Virgin Islands that also accompanied the governor to attend the Smart City Summit and Expo, which took place as well during the time of the governor's visit. We are also in the process of opening up the Invest U.S. Virgin Islands Trade and Investment Office, and the purpose of that office is to be able to have better interaction, closer interaction, and to be able to have being closer to the opportunity to be able to attract foreign direct investment in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And so one of the other areas we are looking at in terms of how do we help facilitate trade is by the opening of the Invest U.S. Virgin Islands Trade and Investment Office in Taipei, Taiwan. When the Director General Xu comes and makes his first official visit to the Virgin Islands, which is going to be hosted by the governor, which will be his first visit to the Caribbean and to Latin America, as well as the Virgin Islands, we're going to also engage in a memorandum of understanding. So one of the things we did, in addition, we visited Taiwan, one of Taiwan's most prestigious educational institution, and it's called Taiwan Tech. And Taiwan Tech is if not the leading academic institution. They produce some of the, certainly at least at minimum, the best in terms of the talent when it comes to the semiconductor chip space. But obviously they produce the talent to be able to deploy these talent around the world when it comes to semiconductor chip manufacturing. And so we're going to sign the Virgin Islands, the governor of the Virgin Islands, University of the Virgin Islands will be the conduit that will sign an MOU between the United States Virgin Islands and Taiwan to form an exchange program between ourselves and Taiwan in terms of education, which speaks to education and workforce development. So we're looking forward to being able to facilitate that opportunity as well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to introduce that Director General Xu and his message in terms of their advocacy and making the case as to when the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework continues to bring on new countries into that economic bloc, geopolitical and economic bloc. Taiwan is saying that they're playing a vital role in the global economy, and not only economically but militarily. Again, remember I said Taiwan produces 90% of the most advanced chips in the world. 90, the most advanced. There are different kinds of chips in the cars and chips in television, chips in cell phones. Those are some examples of where you have chips that help make those things work and function. But when you talk about militarily, some of the most advanced military equipment that the U.S. has at its disposal, whether on land, air, or sea, a lot of those advanced chips, semiconductor chips, are manufactured by Taiwan. 90% of those advanced chips are manufactured in Taiwan. So Taiwan plays a critical role in that regard. And so Taiwan is saying that any geopolitical, any economic bloc that speaks to the players within the Indo-Pacific region, that they should be a part of that. And so let me now play the message from Director General Xu and as to why Taiwan needs to be part of that.
Including Taiwan in the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, IPEF, is of the strategic importance. Firstly, Taiwan is the 10th largest trading partner of the United States in 2022 and plays a crucial role to fortify the U.S. economic resilience. The United States has a good reason to include Taiwan in this regional economic framework. Particularly, he has the pledge that IPEF will be flexible and inclusive. This commitment aligns perfectly with the recent signing of the first agreement under the Taiwan-US Initiative on the 21st Century Trade, representing the most comprehensive bilateral trade agreement since 1979. Apart from creating a new opportunity for the bilateral trade development, this agreement established a solid foundation for a future Taiwan-US free trade agreement, highlighting Taiwan's importance as a strategic partner for the United States. Taiwan has notable advantages in its high-tech industry, thriving digital economy, and his commitment to the zero carbon emission and anti-corruption. These advantages will greatly contribute to the success of the IPEF and bring substantial benefits to the region. By inviting Taiwan to join the IPEF, the United States will demonstrate its recognition of our economic significance, reinforcing his unwavering diplomatic and economic commitment to Taiwan, and maintaining the safety and the security of global supply chain. As a global technological hub and a vital link in international high-tech supply chains, Taiwan serves a leverage against China in the competition for the leading-edge technology.
So that was, Director General Xu from the consulate office in Miami for the Taiwan Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs Minister, Joseph Wu, who is working actively. I had an opportunity to be able to engage the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I led an international press delegation a couple of years ago, and was the group leader to have a candid discussion with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Joseph Wu, around matters of politics and economy. And so my colleagues from all over Europe, France, Switzerland, Germany, Canada, you just name it, from the Western, Eastern Europe, as well as Western and Eastern Europe, we had an opportunity to really, they opened up, and we were able to engage them. And so I had the distinct honor of representing the U.S., not just the U.S. Virgin Islands. I had the distinct honor of representing the country, the United States, with the other countries like France and Switzerland and Germany and the Netherlands, to be able to have that conversation with them. And so, so clearly, when we talk about where there is opportunities for partnering with Taiwan, not just on a national federal level, between Taiwan as a country and as well as a trade partner, but Taiwan works closely with other, if you will, the U.S. States and city and U.S. territories, and we're one of them. So just to recap, where we will have an opportunity, when the governor went to Taiwan, the first thing we're going to implement is the signing of a memorandum of understanding in the area of education and workforce development, an exchange program between Taiwan Tech, that's one of Taiwan's most prominent and prestigious institution that produced the best and the brightest in terms of talent that goes into the manufacturing of semiconductor chips. We will have that memorandum of understanding signing. We met with them while we're there. And so when Joseph Wu visit in October of 2023, the second week of 2023, and the governor will host him, one of the things that will take place is the signing of the MOU between the U.S. Virgin Islands and Taiwan for the purpose of connecting the University of the Virgin Islands and other, if you will, educational institution to be able to start to develop and train and educate the U.S. Virgin Islands workforce to be able to have the opportunity to have the background in being able to pursue and get jobs in the area in semiconductor space. Smart city technology. Smart city technology, we're going to be partnering with one of the states we're going to be partnering is in cities, I should say, in South Carolina, is Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach has agreed. They're launching a smart city pilot program, and they're going to invite the U.S. Virgin Islands to participate with themselves with their pilot smart city pilot program, because Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, is one of the country's one of the top tourist destination, vacation destinations, and because we both are in the tourism space and we rely heavily on tourism, we're going to look at the role smart city is going to play and how smart city is going to impact the infrastructure as it relates to telecommunication and smart city technology. And so, in the other area is cybersecurity. As you know, we have the second largest fiber optic network in the world, second to New York. St. Croix is the home for the second largest fiber optic network subsea cable in the world, second to New York. The reason why the continent of South America has high-speed internet, because St. Croix provides the subsea cable that literally wraps around South America to give South America, which has over 600 million people, almost 700 million people, and countries living in South America. Now, coming up right after this, stay tuned, because we've produced a segment that will run from 1:30 until 2:30, really talking about the issues, all of the critical issues around Taiwan and their pursuit of independence, and why they feel that they've never been subject of mainland China, Beijing China. They have their own currency, their own military, their own currency, court system, the whole 9 yards. And so basically they said, the claims that are being made by China, they're saying they do not acknowledge that, and they see themselves as an independent nation, an independent country, and so therefore they're going to decide their own fate. That's their position, and so they believe that they themselves should be at the table, sitting at the table, in terms of participating in the Indo-Pacific economic framework. And so I will continue, making sure that the Virgin Islands has an opportunity to not only look at how we grow our economy, diversify our economy with different industries within the region, whether it's the Caribbean or Latin America, but certainly North America, but certainly making sure that we have a bridge to the global economy and trade and commerce and investment to the rest of the world and Asia, and having Taiwan as a major partner and having a presence, a trade and investment office in Taiwan to be able to better connect and facilitate those opportunities is what this is all about. So again, thank you for allowing me to occasionally come and I give a special report as to the progress of the relationship between the U.S. Virgin Islands and Taiwan's relationship by virtue of the relationship of Taiwan and the U.S. Relationship. And so we'll continue to be able to do our part to make sure that we are participating and benefiting from that as well. Stay tuned for that special report on our TV network and here on WSCX Bloomberg in terms of the relationship, whether it's militarily, economically, geopolitically, and what it means in terms of the Indo-Pacific region and Taiwan's relationship and their desire to be part of that. I'm Anthony Weeks. I am the Special Economic Envoy, de facto ambassador to Taiwan and the Asian Pacific region for the U.S. Virgin Islands. And I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to come to you and report to you, those things that we have, progress we've made and we continue to make. And you have a safe and blessed day. We'll talk soon.